Hello everyone, and welcome to this short vlog of the Cherry Blossom Festival in Sydney. This festival takes place in the Auburn Botanic Gardens once a year and is Australia's little bit of Japan right here in Sydney. This was mine and Alex's third year going, and of course I was super excited to go. It was so busy though. It had been much busier than the previous years, and every year it just gets more popular. Upon entry, there was a huge line waiting to get into the Cherry Blossom Trail, so Alk and I decided to go to the food village first. There are different sections of the Cherry Blossom Festival, so we will get to them as we go. But yeah, we were feeling pretty hungry, so the first thing we wanted to do is go and get some food. There were stalls that we hadn't seen before and quite a few that are regulars. One of our favourite to go visit is Hoi Polloi. They have skewers and they can be a little bit pricey. Yeah. You can get about 2 skewers for $17, but they are delicious. We also went and got a Wagyu Asian kebab from Wagyu Blacks. Alk did also venture over to this stall where they had Hello Kitty ice creams and lemonade, but we ended up just getting some water and some sparkling water. This was the kebab that we got, and it was pretty good.
You have a system where eating in line and then going to the next place, and eating in line and then going to the next place. Right now we're lined up for onigiri.
They had so many different flavors of onigiri, but it did take quite a long time to actually get them. There was quite a long line, and once we finally ordered, it took about 20-30 minutes for us to get our onigiri, and we only got 4 of them. In the meantime, we went to different stalls while we waited and got some drinks. The little robot guy was melon flavored, and for the Sakura ones, we got matcha strawberry and lychee strawberry.
First time trying matcha strawberry. That's a lot of strawberry, but it's nice.
This is what the onigiri looked like, and they were quite tasty. I really liked the salmon one and the beef one that we got. And we sat by the water and enjoyed it as like a little picnic. I forgot to mention it's Hello Kitty's 50th anniversary, so they were celebrating her there as well.
We're now going into the cherry blossom area. We had some food, we have our drinks. And we're going in to take some photos before we get dessert and leave because it is super busy here still.
As I said before, it gets more and more popular every year. So even though we ate lunch first, when we got back in line, it took a while to get to the front as well. The place was pretty crowded, but once we were actually walking around inside, it wasn't too bad. The only problem was people taking pictures in the middle of the walkway. So big word of advice, if you want to take pictures with the cherry blossom trees, please move to the side so everyone else can get through. It just kind of ruins it for everyone else. Despite it being super popular and super busy, I love visiting every year. They always have good food, performances on in the background, and even origami and other activities at the pavilion, like face painting for kids too. The cherry blossoms themselves are gorgeous as well. I'm always super keen to go and get a couple of photos and just go spend a day by the water as well. I don't know, there's just something serene about Japanese gardens. Because it wasn't our first time being here, we have gotten quite a few photos of each other around the cherry blossoms in the past, so we weren't too worried about stopping to get one photo. I more wanted to take some footage for a little vlog and to just enjoy the scenery. It had been raining quite a lot in the week leading up to us going, and I was surprised that the cherry blossoms were in full bloom as they were, and I was really happy to see that it was a bright sunny day when we went.
This is a popular spot to get photos, and usually it's not too crowded.
A little tip, if you want to avoid more crowds, I would suggest getting in a little bit earlier in the morning when people aren't around as much or coming in to get lunch or anything like that. Because the Cherry Blossom Festival also goes for longer than a week, I do suggest coming in on a weekday if you want to avoid families and kids, because usually the kids will be at school when the school term is in. You can also come later in the afternoon, but things may run out by then. There are quite a few spots around the gardens to take photos down by the water near the koi or the cherry blossom archway that we saw in the previous clips. But we managed to stop around the back where not as many people were and get some photos by some red blossoms. The bridge was also busy. There is a little bridge where people tend to take photos. We also saw some peacocks on the way through. And the last pathway of cherry blossoms on the way out were probably the busiest, and they always are, but you can get some pretty good photos in there. I even managed to lose Alk briefly in the crowd amongst all the people trying to push in to get photos. We also didn't stop too far into the bamboo thicket just because people were constantly moving through.
We're on our way out now.
On our way out of the garden, we actually took a little detour because we realized that the fauna reserve was actually open this year to the rest of the public. We hadn't had the chance to go and have a look, so we did. It wasn't as busy or as popular as the cherry blossoms themselves, but it was really cute. There were posters with Dreamtime stories about how animals got their colors and information about the animals in the habitats. We saw some wallabies, some emus, there was even a kangaroo just lying on the ground. And I think one of the coolest ones that we had the chance to go and see, of course on top of the peacocks, was this cute wombat. He was just dozing off in the heat, and honestly, same. That was such a mood. They had also opened up the nature walk as well, so you could go and walk through the billabong and the rainforest areas and see this lone rooster on the way and just check it out. And I thought that was cool that they had the Japanese gardens and then they had the native Australian ones too. Alk and I went for a little walk because we weren't really sure whether we wanted to end the day yet, and we wanted to scope it out. It was super peaceful and super cool to see all of the native species. I was very surprised to see this sign that said living with snakes, which told us that the red-bellied black snake is actually native to the Auburn area, and I didn't know that, but that's really cool. I honestly don't mind snakes. I grew up in a small town, so we saw plenty of brown snakes, and it was cool to learn something new about the area. We didn't end up going too far into the nature reserve itself because we didn't know how long the walk was, and we did want to get home relatively soon. But we made it down to the rainforest area and down to the billabong where there were people taking photos by the water, and it was just really nice. I also thought it was funny because there's nothing more Australian to add to a nature reserve than seeing an ibis out in the wild, and I actually managed to get 2 of them on camera. However, they are a little bit hard to see. They're behind the trees in this footage now. Not their natural habitat though. They're usually around rubbish bins.
Turning back the way we came from because it was too long of a walk and we want food and dessert and to go home.
All in all, we had a wonderful day out. Alk and I love to go to these types of things, especially being in our home city of Sydney. And yeah, I had a good time. If you guys enjoyed this vlog and want to check it out, the Cherry Blossom Festival is on for the next week. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.